Good morning, beloved. As the sun reaches out her fingers to stretch across the weary sky, I rise. I rise with a purpose as ancient as the Psalms, as sacred as the breath in my lungs. I rise with strength borrowed from my ancestors, clothed in the rhythm of heaven's promises. I rise because the Lord is my shepherd, and I shall not want. You see, this morning is not just a morning. This morning is a declaration. It is the hush before the hallelujah, the inhale before the battle cry. This is the moment when soul and spirit hold hands and say, "We are not afraid. The Lord is my shepherd." Ah, yes. Let us sit for a moment and allow the stillness to hold us like a grandmother's arms, like a quilt heavy with memory. For when we say, "The Lord is my shepherd," we are not speaking words of poetry alone. We are uttering the truth our weary souls have known. This is not just ink on paper. It is breath. It is bread. It is the declaration of a people who have been through the fire and came out not even smelling of smoke. It is the whisper of the broken who were healed by unseen hands. The Lord is my shepherd, and I shall not want. There is a knowing that sits deep in the marrow when you have lived long enough to see the Lord show up. Not always early, never late, but right when your last sigh is rising. When your hands are empty and your hope is wearing thin, that's when he comes, guiding you like a shepherd who knows your name and knows your need. You don't have to shout for him. You don't have to perform. All you have to do is surrender to the truth that has always been. He's already there. Yes, child. The Lord does not simply glance at your pain. He studies it like a love letter. He traces your worry lines with the gentleness of eternity. He sees your fears, even the ones you do not say out loud, the ones you cover with a smile, the ones that keep you pacing at night. And yet he says, "You shall not want." What a mighty promise. What a mighty God. Wanting. It's a kind of hunger that sits not just in the stomach, but in the soul. It is the aching for more. More love, more answers, more peace, more meaning. It is the quiet desperation in our chest that cries out, "Lord, will you provide?" And the shepherd, oh yes, the shepherd answers with provision wrapped in mystery. You may not always get what you thought you needed, but you will never go without what he has ordained for your good. Never. Now, we must understand the rhythm of the shepherd. He is not rushed. He is not frantic. He does not operate by human clocks or panic buttons. No, he guides. He walks step by sacred step. And sometimes he makes us lie down, not because we are lazy, not because we've failed, but because rest is holy, because stillness is healing, because the sheep don't always know they're tired until the shepherd stills them beside the waters that don't roar. He says, "Lay down, my child. Let me take care of you." And I know, sometimes it is hard to trust the shepherd's pace. We want to run. We want to figure it out. We want to carry the whole world on our shoulders and still pretend we're not burdened. But the shepherd does not call you to carry. He calls you to follow, and following means surrender. It means laying down your plans like coats at his feet and saying, "Lead me, Lord. I trust you more than I trust myself." He knows the way. That's what we forget. That's what anxiety tries to erase from our hearts. But the shepherd, he's not new to this path. He's walked it through every generation. He's led your grandmothers through wildernesses and your grandfathers through battlefields. He led enslaved souls through cotton fields and desert lands, and they sang about him in chains. Sang about the day when the shepherd would carry them home. So don't you dare believe for one moment that he's forgotten how to lead you. Even when your feet are sore from waiting, even when your eyes are dry from crying, the shepherd sees you. And when he says, "I am with you," he does not mean occasionally or during the good times. He means always. He means forever. He means even when you don't feel it, even when the silence grows heavy. The shepherd never leaves his sheep. Now let me tell you something I've learned through the years. Something no sermon or song could teach me. Just life and God alone. The shepherd's provision isn't always about what you hold in your hand. Sometimes it's about what he keeps from your path. It's in the no that saves your soul. It's in the closed door that keeps you from falling. It's in the quiet delay that sets the stage for a miracle you didn't know you needed. And we call that lack, but he calls it love. To walk with the shepherd is to live in divine contradiction. You may be surrounded by storms, but peace will walk beside you. You may be misunderstood by people, but known intimately by God. You may not have silver or gold, but you will never be without grace. And grace? Oh, grace enough. Grace is the manna that falls when your basket is empty. It is the oil that keeps pouring even when the jar looks dry. Let the morning be your sanctuary. Let it be your daily resurrection. Let your first breath be a prayer and your second a praise. Wake up knowing that you are covered, not by chance or coincidence, but by covenant. The shepherd has already walked ahead of you preparing your path. So don't worry about what you can't control. Don't obsess over what you can't fix. Just follow him. And when you feel lost, because you will, when you stumble, when the darkness clouds your way, just pause. Breathe. Listen. You'll hear the whisper of the shepherd's staff tapping gently in the distance, calling you back to safety, calling you back to the truth. You are not alone. So take this morning and make it holy. Wrap it in prayer, lace it with gratitude, and walk forward with your head held high and your spirit bowed low. For the shepherd walks beside you, and because of him, yes, only because of him, you shall not want. Amen. Ah, there are mornings when the sky seems heavy, and the air feels like sorrow is threading itself into your very lungs. Days when the burden of being human presses against the bones, when grief or weariness walks beside you like an old, unwelcome friend. And still we rise, not because we are fearless, but because we are accompanied. That's the sacred truth. We do not walk alone. Even when our path winds through the long shadows of pain and the valley of the unknown, we are not abandoned. The Lord walks with us. Oh yes, child, even there, especially there. It is one thing to speak of joy when the sun is warm on your skin and your prayers have been answered before they left your lips. But let us speak honestly now. As women and men carved by struggle, what do you do when you walk through the valley? Not around it, not above it, through it. When the phone rings and the news is not good. When the bills outnumber the blessings. When loneliness lingers like fog. That's the valley. That's the place where hope feels small and faith is not a song but a whisper. But hear me now. Faith is not proven on the mountaintop. It is refined in the valley. It's in the place of shadows that we discover the shape of our shepherd. We learn the music of his footsteps. We lean in and we listen. And though our knees tremble, our souls remember he is with me, not observing, not judging from afar. No, he is with me. And that presence, that holy, unwavering, unstoppable presence, is the difference between despair and deliverance. I have walked through valleys, baby, real ones. I have walked through hospital rooms where the monitors beep like ticking clocks counting down. I have walked through the echo of slamming doors. Jobs lost, people gone, friendships betrayed. I have knelt at the altar of disappointment and tried to find meaning in the silence. But through every valley, I found the shepherd's hand was steady. His voice was sure. And when I could not walk, he carried me. That is the nature of divine love, not passive, not distant, but active, involved, near enough to hear the catch in your throat when you pray without words. He knows. He knows how to cradle your heartbreak and give it back to you as wisdom. He knows how to take your sorrow and plant seeds of strength so deep within your soul that you don't even know how you're still standing. But you are, because he is. Yeah, though I walk, that word walk. Not run, not sprint, not panic or freeze. but walk. There is something sacred in that slow, steady movement. It means you haven't given up. It means you're still trying, still trusting, still breathing. Even with tears on your cheeks, you are moving forward. That is holy. That is courage. That is worship in its rawest form. There is no shame in the valley. Let me say that again for the ones in the back. There is no shame in the valley. The world may try to convince you that struggle means failure, that heart attack means you did something wrong. But the Spirit says otherwise. The Spirit says that the valley is where the sacred meets the soil, where miracles grow quietly, away from the applause, where strength is sown in silence and harvested in resilience. And listen to me closely. The shepherd does not lead you into the valley to leave you there. That's not his way. He's not the kind of God who abandons. He is not fair weather. He is not seasonal. He is eternal. If you are in the valley, then know this: you are on your way through. You may not see the other side yet, but your shepherd does. He's already been there. He's already prepared your victory. He's already written your breakthrough into the story. So keep walking. You don't have to be strong every day. Some days all you can do is whisper his name, and that is enough. Some days just getting out of bed is a miracle in itself. Don't let anyone tell your quiet perseverance isn't holy. It is. Your tears are sacred offerings. Your groaning is a song only heaven can hear, and the shepherd is moved by your every breath. He does not need a show. He desires your surrender, and even in that valley he provides, not just escape, but comfort. His rod and his staff, they correct and they protect. They bring order to chaos. They guide your next step, even when the fog is thick. That's love. That's divine intimacy. That's a Savior who says, even here, I see you. And if you listen with your soul, you'll hear him calling your name. Not in anger, not in disappointment, but in love, in longing, because he wants you near. Now let me tell you this: the valley will not last forever. No shadow is permanent. No pain is eternal. There is always a morning coming. And not just a morning of sunlight, but a morning of meaning. The kind of morning where you look back and say, yes, it was hard. Yes, I didn't understand. But my God was with me. And I am still here. You will come out of this valley with treasures you didn't know you were gathering. Patience, compassion, strength, empathy. Faith that doesn't need to see to believe. You will speak with authority because you have been there. And when someone else stumbles into their own dark night, you'll take their hand and say, walk with me. I know the way, because I walked it with the shepherd. So today, don't curse your valley. Don't despise your tears. Lift your head, not because the burden has disappeared, but because you know who carries it with you. Let the shepherd's presence be your anchor, your peace, your assurance. Say to your soul, he is with me. I may not know how, but I will come through this. And you will, for every valley has an exit, every tunnel has a light, and every child of God has a shepherd who never fails. So walk on, beloved, walk on, with trembling hands and lifted heart. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are deeply, eternally, irrevocably loved. Amen. There is a hush in the early morning, before the rush of the world's noise rises, before the demands start calling your name, before the burdens awaken from their beds. It is there, in that sacred stillness, that the soul can hear what it too often forgets. In the chaos of the day, he restores my soul. Not just my body, not just my circumstances, but my soul, that eternal, unseen, deeply worn part of me. Yes, child, God knows the difference. He sees beyond the surface and ministers to what is hidden, to what is bruised, to what even you have stopped noticing. We wear many faces, don't we? The strong face, the polite face, the I'm fine mask we offer to strangers and sometimes even to the ones we love. But behind it all, the soul aches for restoration. We carry the weight of old betrayals, of forgotten dreams, of things we've lost and things we never dared to hope for in the first place. Life, in all its beauty, can be cruel in its carving, but oh, how tender is the hand of the Lord! He restores what the world tears. He rebuilds what time tries to erode. And he does not do it loudly. He does not shout his healing across the sky. No, he comes gently, like a mother with a crying child, like rain soaking into cracked earth. Restoration, true restoration, is slow and sacred. It is not a performance, it is a process. And we must learn to honor it. We must stop measuring God's work by how loud it is, how public it becomes. For the most profound transformations happen in silence, in solitude, in the secret places of the Spirit. Now I tell you this, no one can restore your soul like the Lord. Not money, not romance, not fame. They may thrill for a season, they may distract, but they cannot restore. That kind of healing, deep, eternal, unapologetically whole, comes only from the one who created you. He knows your original shape. He remembers who you were before the trauma, before the disappointment, before the scars. And his desire is not to just fix you, but to bring you back to life. We live in a world that encourages pretending. Keep moving, they say. Stay strong, they tell you, even when your spirit is barely breathing. But what a gift, what a blessing it is to have a God who says, "Come, sit, rest. Let me mend what's been broken." You don't have to perform. You don't have to impress. All you have to do is be still long enough to let him in. There are seasons when we confuse business with purpose, when we think if we just do more, we'll be whole. But no amount of work can replace the need for rest. And not just sleep, soul rest. The kind of rest that reaches down into your past, your memories, your griefs, and gently untangles them. The kind that washes over your shame with the steady waves of mercy. That, beloved, is what restoration feels like. Like grace poured out, drop by drop, until the soul is no longer parched. And let me speak to the tired ones now. The ones who've been pouring out for others, giving, serving, showing up even when your own tank is empty. God sees you. He knows. And he is not asking you to carry everything on your own. You were not designed to. Even Jesus, in his divine humility, stole away from the crowds to rest, to pray, to be restored by his Father. So why do you think you're failing when you feel weary? Why do you believe the lie that needing rest is weakness? No. Rest is wisdom. Rest is obedience. Rest is sacred. And when God restores your soul, he doesn't just patch you up. He doesn't just sweep the dust under the rug. He renews. He breathes fresh life into your lungs. He takes the cracked pottery of your heart and doesn't discard it. He fills the fractures with gold. That's the kind of God we serve. One who turns wounds into wisdom. One who turns ashes into art. You may have forgotten who you were. Life has a way of doing that. But God remembers. He never forgets the beauty he planted in you. He never stops calling you by the name he whispered when he first formed you. And when he restores you, it is not so you can return to what broke you. No, it is so you can walk forward stronger, freer, clearer, with new eyes, new power, and a new awareness of just how deeply loved you are. Now, don't expect everyone to understand your restoration. Some people only knew you in your broken state. Some got comfortable with the tired version of you. Some benefited from your silence, your exhaustion, your willingness to shrink. But when God restores your soul, you will begin to rise in ways that may disturb the comfort of others. And that's all right. You weren't made to stay small. So walk in your restoration. Don't apologize for it. Don't downplay it. Let your healing speak. Let your peace preach. Let the joy that rises in you be a testimony, not to your strength, but to God's goodness. Because that's what restoration ultimately is. It's a mirror reflecting the mercy of the Almighty. And understand this too. Restoration is not a one-time event. It's a rhythm, a return, a constant invitation to come back home to God, to yourself, to peace. You will need it again and again, but each time He will meet you there, not with condemnation, not with shame, but with open arms and a steady voice that says, I've been waiting for you. Let me make you whole again. So this morning, as the light breaks across the sky and your soul stirs within your body, take a moment. Breathe, close your eyes, and whisper this truth into the marrow of your being. He restores my soul. Say it like you believe it. Say it like it's already happening. Say it until your spirit aligns with the promise. For no matter how lost you felt, how tired you've been, how far you've wandered, the shepherd is near, and He is restoring you, day by day, breath by breath, grace by grace. Amen. There is a path, child, a holy path, not paved with certainty nor lit with the ease of understanding, but it is there, winding through the wild fields of life, through the crooked roads of decision and the dark forests of fear. It is there, and it is ordained. The Lord in His mercy leads us, not with a whip, not with force, but with love, gentle, sure, sovereign. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for His name's sake. And oh, what a tender and majestic truth that is. We do not stumble through this life by accident. No, beloved. There is a divine choreography to the steps we take, even when we feel like we are dancing in the dark. God does not abandon His own to wander without purpose. He leads. He guides. He directs. Even when you feel lost, you are still being led. Now I want you to pause, child, and take this truth deep into your bonus. God is not just walking behind you to clean up your mess. He is ahead of you, clearing the way, softening the ground, preparing the places where your feet will land. That's the kind of God He is. And He's not guiding you on any old road. He's leading you on a path of righteousness. What is righteousness? It is not the stiff robe of perfection. It is not the hollow echo of religious performance. No, it is walking rightly, with Him, in Him, by Him. It is living in such a way that your soul stays aligned with heaven. It is choosing grace over greed, love over bitterness, humility over pride. And that path, though it may be narrow, is filled with the fragrance of purpose. Sometimes the road God leads you on doesn't make sense to the people around you. Sometimes it won't even make sense to you. There are turns that feel like setbacks, seasons that feel like silence. But trust me when I say the path of righteousness is not without direction. It's just not always lit in the way we expect. We want floodlights, but God gives us lanterns, enough for the next step, and then the next, and the next. That, my dear, is where faith is born, in the space between clarity and obedience. You see, He does not just lead you to be comfortable. He leads you to become holy. He is shaping you with every step, molding your heart, tuning your spirit, teaching you to lean on Him, not on what you can see or control. Sometimes the path feels like a detour, but it's actually deliverance. Sometimes it feels like punishment, but it's protection. The job that didn't come through, the relationship that ended, the door that slammed in your face. What if that was the shepherd steering you away from what would have broken you? And He does it all for His name's sake. Oh, there is power in that line. He leads you not just because you are worthy, but because He is. Because His name is holy, faithful, trustworthy. Because His glory is tied to your journey. When He leads you, He is staking His own reputation on your survival. He is not going to let you fall in vain. He will bring you through so that the world may know He is who He says He is. The path of righteousness is not always paved with roses. Sometimes it's lined with thorns. Sometimes your feet will bleed. Sometimes the path will call you to forgive someone who never said, "I'm sorry." Sometimes it will require you to walk away from comfort and into the unknown. But still, it is the best path, the only path, because it leads to life, it leads to peace. It leads to you becoming the truest version of who you were always meant to be. And when the world tries to pull you off that path, when the voices get loud, when the distractions seem more attractive than the discipline of the journey, remember this: the shepherd's hand is steady. He will not let you drift too far. Even when you stray, he will come after you, not with wrath, but with rescue, because that is what love does. It pursues, it protects, it brings you back home. Oh, I know what it is to want to choose my own path, to think I know better, to believe that shortcuts are safer. But every time I did, I ended up more lost than before. And every time when I cried out from the wilderness, his voice found me. "This is the way," he would whisper. "Walk in it." And though my legs were tired, though my heart was heavy, I would follow. And in that following, I found my strength. Let me speak now to the weary traveler, the one who's been on the path but feels tired of the climb. God has not forgotten you. He sees every step you've taken in faith. He sees the sacrifices no one else applauded. He sees the integrity you kept when it cost you something. And he is pleased. He is with you. You are not walking unnoticed. Heaven watches every footfall with joy, and your reward is coming. Let your life be a testimony of a guided soul. Let your story say, "I didn't always know where I was going, but I knew who I was following." And let that be enough. Because when you walk the path of righteousness, you are never walking alone. You are walking with purpose. You are walking with grace. You are walking under the loving gaze of a shepherd who will never let you go. So today, as the morning breaks and the world begins its rush, take a moment. Listen for the footsteps of the Lord. Ask him, "Where would you have me go?" And then trust him enough to follow, even when the road bends, even when it narrows, even when it climbs, because on that path, beloved, is where your soul becomes whole. On that path is where you find God, not just in the destination, but in the journey itself. He leads you in paths of righteousness, for his name's sake, and that, my dear, is more than enough. Amen. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Oh, my soul knows that line like the back of an old, withered hand. It has comforted me in times when my heart quivered like a leaf in a storm. It has held me up when the earth beneath my feet trembled with uncertainty. And though the valley still comes, because it always will, I am reminded again and again that I do not walk it alone. You see, child, life is not a constant mountaintop. It is not always filled with singing birds and sunshine mornings. There are valleys, deep ones, lonely ones, the kind where shadows stretch out long and heavy, whispering fears into your ear and convincing you that joy is a stranger and peace has packed up and gone. Yes, the valley comes to every man, every woman, regardless of title, status, or how long you've known the Lord. But the beauty, oh the glory, is this: we walk through it. We are not buried in it. We are not forsaken in it. We are not meant to stay there. God does not leave us in the valley. He leads us through it, step by step, tear by tear, prayer by prayer. That is the promise. It's called the valley of the shadow of death. But let us pay attention to the word shadow. For where there is shadow, there must be light. A shadow cannot exist without light standing somewhere near. So even in the darkness, there is proof that God's presence is close. You may not see him fully, but his light is casting off the edge of your sorrow, wrapping around your despair, letting you know, "Child, I am here." Now let me talk to the one whose hands are trembling, the one who smiles in public but cries in secret, the one who feels like the valley has lasted too long. I know it feels endless. I know you wonder if joy will ever visit your door again. But let me tell you, God is not just the God of the mountaintop. He is the God of the midnight hour. He is the one who walks beside you in the thickest part of the night. He doesn't wait on the other side of your trouble. He comes into it with you. He sits with you in the silence. He holds your heart while it breaks. Sometimes we want to pray the valley away. We want to shout, "Lord, take it from me." And sometimes he does. But often he doesn't remove the valley. He transforms us in it. He teaches us there. He stretches our faith there. He shows us parts of ourselves we never knew. The courage we never claimed. The wisdom we never owned. The strength we didn't believe could come from us. Yes, valleys birth transformation. Don't let the shadows scare you. Shadows exaggerate. They stretch and distort. They look larger than life, but they cannot touch you. The shadow of a wolf cannot bite. The shadow of a sword cannot cut. And the shadow of death cannot kill. It's a lie dressed up in size. It looms and it haunts, but it has no true power when the shepherd is near. And yes, sometimes the fear creeps in. Even strong people feel fear. But the word says, "I will fear no evil." Why? Because thou art with me. Not because I'm tough. Not because I've mastered the art of pretending. Not because I've earned immunity from suffering. No, because he is with me. That changes everything. When the Creator of the heavens walks beside you, what darkness can defeat you? When the one who spoke stars into being takes your hand, what terror can truly overwhelm you? It is not your might that carries you. It is his presence, and his presence is the anchor, the blanket, the sword, and the shield all wrapped into one holy covering. I've walked some valleys in my time. I've known betrayal that could slice a heart in two. I've felt grief that made it hard to breathe. I've stood in the shadow of financial ruin, heartbreak, sickness, and despair. And still I have never walked a valley alone. The shepherd was always near, sometimes silent, sometimes invisible, but always near. You may not always feel him, but he's there. Guarding you with strength when you want to collapse. Speaking to your spirit in the language of peace. You might not hear him in words, but you'll feel him in the way you keep going when you swore you couldn't. That beloved is God. That quiet endurance. That breath that returns. That hope that flickers back to life even when you thought it died. Now, I need you to remember this tug, your valley, is a testimony in the making. Somebody is watching how you walk through it. Somebody is learning from your survival. Somebody is seeing the grace of God in the way you hold your head up when your soul is bowed down. Do not despise the valley. Do not curse the process. God is writing something in your struggle that will bless someone else's freedom. And one day you will stand on the other side of it, not just with your own healing, but with healing in your hands for others. So walk through that valley, child. Don't sit down in it. Don't pitch a tent there. Don't build a house in a temporary season. Walk, limp if you must, crawl if it comes to that, but move. Keep pressing forward, for the shepherd walks with you. He is not behind you. He is not ahead of you. He is with you, beside you, speaking softly to your spirit with every step. And know this, the valley does not mean the end. It is not the final chapter. It is a passageway, a place of becoming. A place where what's fake burns away and what's real is refined. A place where God takes your fear and trades it for faith. A place where the shadows teach you to trust in the light. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for art with me. Let that be your anthem. Let it be the melody of your mornings and the whisper of your nights. Say it until your fear bows. Say it until your soul believes again. You are walking through, beloved, not staying in, and he is walking with you. Amen.